to the 9th episode of Cartridge Chronicles, the podcast where we dust off the cartridges, blow on them, whether that helped or not, and dive deep into the games that shaped us. I'm Questmaster Prime, joined as always by Marz Attakz, and today we are stepping into the shadows of the world's most famous shifting castle. We're not talking about your standard linear stage-by-stage platformer. We're talking about a half-vampire prince with flowing white hair, a cape that defies physics, a sprawling labyrinth filled with mythological nightmares, and a voice acting line that has been burned into the collective consciousness of gaming history. What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets? Today, we're covering Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the original PlayStation. Released by Konami in 1997, this masterpiece took a legendary, stiff-jumping action franchise, completely shattered its own mold, and accidentally co-birthed an entire genre that indie developers are still using today. It was a game that dared to release a gorgeous hand-drawn 2D side-scroller right at the dawn of the 3D polygonal revolution. It was dismissed by corporate executives as outdated before it even hit the shelves, only to completely rewrite the rules of exploration, progression, and atmosphere. So pack your short sword, grab some wall meat, and make sure you got your library card handy. This is Symphony of the Night. All right, great. I am here with my buddy Marz Attakz. This is Questmaster Prime, and today we're going to talk about the Symphony of the Night from the Castlevania series. I would say this is one of the best Castlevania games in the series, even though Castlevania was a pretty good series. It's from Konami, came out in the mid-90s. It was under the director Toru Hagahara. It was a spinoff for it was supposed to be on the Sega 32X, but they shifted it for development for the PlayStation. PlayStation 1, that is. And it was the Castlevania creator was Koji Ajirashi. I probably butchered that. Ajirashi, who kind of joined the team partway of this game, developing this game. He was the director, the programmer, and he was the writer. They noticed a major problem with traditional action games of that time. They were way too short, and highly skilled players would kind of get through them really quick. So this is kind of why this game is not a linear stage progression. It's more of a Metroidvania type of game where you're kind of, I will also say it's kind of open world a little bit too, because you can kind of go anywhere you want. And you can do a lot of backtracking and unlock new things. So it's a pretty interesting game. The artistic style in this game is amazing. I think the artistic style in this game is great. It's from the artist Ayami Kojima.
Yeah.
And he's a very good artist. Very good artist. And this game was amazing with the art. What are your thoughts?
It's actually, I bought I went to a convention today, and I bought an art piece of the game.
Yeah.
For the game. So I actually have it right here. It's I guess it would be like the promo cover for the game, but it has Alucard, Dracula, Maria, and Trevor.
Ooh.
And it's in the gothic art painting style. So yeah, my favorite pieces of art. Like you said, the art for the game is just amazing.
Yeah.
And the art for the series changed for this game. So that's the other thing, if you look at the original art pieces, very Western, less gothic. And Ayomi, she brings this very very gothic, very almost also anime style art, gothic anime style art to the game. So Yeah, like I gotta find where I'm gonna mount this piece. But yeah, I bought this today because it was just like, yeah, I have to have that. So
That sounds actually pretty cool. I'd like to see that.
yeah,
That's pretty awesome.
I got that today at a convention.
Nice. Yeah, because the art was, I mean, art was good, but also the music. Like the music was
Yeah.
good, and that was from, and also another female, Mashiro Yamane. And she did like you said, with the art, the gothic, but she did like gothic orchestra, and like a mixture of like heavy metal, some jazz, and
Yeah,
techno in
like
this as well.
one of the like the soundtrack for this game is like another character in the game.
Yes.
Um, so each dungeon or each area, has its own like music, and when the game starts, it has this like a very very religious kind of I want to say aria, but it has like a choir singing in the
Yes.
background. And so it kind of prepares you like, again, this is a very gothic, dark game. And it sets the tone for the game. Actually, I have that as my alarm clock for when I wake up, is that intro when you like press start and the choir starts to sing. But I mean, we can go from here, but I actually played this game on the Sega Saturn, and not because this came out for the PlayStation in America.
Yes.
But it came out also on the Sega Saturn in Japan, and I remember asking my parents to import this game for me, and they did. I got it for Christmas.
How did they import it? How did they
I
do all
think
that?
I found like some magazine, and back in the day, like you would find like articles in the back of magazines on how to import stuff. I think it was actually a game. Oh, I guess had a conversation with a friend of mine about this particular magazine because it was like the most expensive gaming magazine at the time. And they were basically a magazine that talked about the overseas market of games. So they would have these like importers that you could buy the games from. So I remember asking my mom like if I could import this game for like Christmas, and not knowing back then you had to mail stuff, like mail checks, mail, like
Yeah. Yeah.
which there's no, it wasn't, oh, let me just call them and do a credit card transaction. You got to mail this stuff to them. So she actually mailed it to them and got it back, and I got it for Christmas. I remember.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't know if she's gonna listen to this podcast, but I didn't know that she got it. I remember going through my Christmas gifts one year. Like they were already wrapped. My parents wrapped them early, but I remember unwrapping it and being like, "Holy crap, she actually got it!" And yeah, I got it for Sega Saturn. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That is pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome that your mom did that. That she went there and imported it. That's pretty cool.
I only gave her. I was like, "Here's what you need to do." I didn't know if she was gonna, if they were gonna do it. But yeah, I actually had it imported from Japan, and I got to play it. But everything's in Japanese, so I mean, I didn't know. I only buy luckily, like the little boxes had like pictures of whatever you were doing.
Yeah.
I couldn't read anything in the game. It was just
I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you if you could read it.
It was just by luck that I was able to, actually get it up and working. So
I'm curious. Was there any voice acting in that version?
Yeah,
of the game? It was.
All
It was all
Japanese.
Japanese.
It was a
Okay.
better voice. Like, so here's the crazy thing, right? The American version, when I first played that, I was like, this voice acting is terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
For
The beginning,
Japanese.
especially. The
Yeah,
beginning,
especially like
especially.
when he's talking to Dracula.
Yeah.
It's the interaction between Dracula and Trevor Belmont.
Yeah.
Japanese is so much better, you know.
Well, I would say the vampire. I think the voice actor who did the vampire was better than the actual Trevor. Trevor was bad. I
Yeah.
agree. Trevor was really. It was like die, monster. Like it's
Yeah.
like he's reading from a cue card.
And then like what is a man? A miserable pile of secrets. Of course,
Yes.
that's not what it is in Japanese. It's a miserable pile of, and it's a curse word.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard of that.
So, I mean, translating to make it, I guess kid friendly, which is fun with me. But it's interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I heard about that too. I was like, oh, that was actually a cuss word because when you listen to it the first time, you're like, oh, that sounds weird. Okay, but I guess it makes sense. Because I kind of when I got this game, I was a huge Castlevania fan as well. I loved the second Castlevania game. I liked the first one, but the second one is what I liked the most. I did like that because it was finding secrets and finding different things in that world. It was almost like an open world type of game anyway, before this game came out. But that one and then the third one came out, I played that, and then I had to get this game because everywhere I looked, the ratings were good. And of course, I love Castlevania. I loved the character. I thought he looked cool. I thought he looked really awesome. And I wanted to play as Dracula's son, so I thought that was cool. And I bought the game. I actually bought. This is one of the first games I bought with my money because This is around '97, so this is my first part-time job. First time I'm actually working. So this is like one of the first games I bought with my own money. I didn't have to rely on my mom. So I went to Funko Land at the time, and I bought the game, and I was so excited. I went and played it. I played it. I think I played it all night, and I never put it down. I kept playing and playing and playing, and then I realized I got lost a lot. But it was great, just exploring the world, and I did end up beating the game, which I thought was amazing. And of course, I'm replaying the game now, even before, playing it for the show. It's just such a great game. It's a wonderful game. I mean, what would you think? What for you would be like the best parts of this game for you?
So we first meet Alucard in Dracula's Curse, right? And it's kind of like, where are they going to go with this game? You had Dracula X come out for Super NES. And then I think also they did Dracula X on the PlayStation, but it wasn't called Dracula X. It was called something else. So it was like, where else can they take this story? So for me, the great part was it breathed new life into the Castlevania series, right?
Right.
And I was like, also the elements of RPG.
Yeah, that's what I like about it.
You can you can level up, and you can also use magic. One of the things when you start off with this game is you're fully powered, right?
Yeah.
So seeing Alucard at his full powered self when you first run into the castle, and you're like, oh, like I'm basically unstoppable.
Yeah, you beat these big bear monster creatures. Yeah.
Like, how are they gonna fix this? Because I'm unstoppable at this
Too
point,
easy. Yeah.
And you run into death, and he takes all your power and all your stuff, and it's like, good luck, buddy. And now you're like, searching through the castle, trying to find like the good like power ups and like the different magics that you had, your different capes. I love that too. Like you could change the look with capes.
Yeah, I like that.
The transforming into different forms, so bat, smoke, wolf. So keeping also the Dracula legend and lore alive, and and also this was Dracula's castle, and so every room was different. And like that's what I really appreciate about this game. Now, mind you, again, I'm doing this in Japanese, so I don't know what is going on. But I know it's epic, right? Even down to the initial fight again with Trevor Belmont. Well, here's the funny thing, right? So the initial fight where it's like Trevor Belmont and you're fighting Dracula.
Yep.
And then like once you get to a certain point, he goes full form into like the Beast Dracula.
Yeah.
You defeat him, and then there's a word scroll, right?
Yep.
That's in English. Like that
in the Saturn one?
In the Sega Saturn, that was in
English. Okay.
So I could read where we were, like where we're going. It's like, Trevor Belmont finally defeats Dracula, and then it basically leading you into Symphony of the Night, right?
Yes. Yep.
And so I could read all that in English, which I was surprised. I was like, oh, okay. Well, at least I know what's going on, like how we even got here. And then you roll into your Alucard, and then you're running in the forest, and then you jump into the castle, and then you're in the castle, and the music, starts to play. And so I love this game. This is one of those games, like you said, I probably play this. Well, this is one of those games where I've played multiple times. Yeah. Even when I had it in Japanese, I was playing it multiple times because it always felt like there was more, right?
Yeah.
I can't describe it. It just always felt like there was more to discover in going along in this game. And encountering the different monsters, and then there were different I forget what they call them, like what is it, like when you have the sword, you had the bat, you had like the little demon guy, you had like the fairy around you. So there were all these different things you could call on and power them up,
like relics.
Yeah
Relics. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I know.
Yeah, and power them up, and then like seeing them fight, and then finding all the different weapons. Like, what weapon did you feel like was a good one against, this monster, that monster? So there was just so much, and like that's what I really appreciated, is like they thought like we want to give them a lot to experience in the game and a lot to try.
Right.
Some weapons were, just not good at all. Like one of the first weapons you get is like a rusted sword.
Yeah, it's like a nub. It's like a little nub you got. You're like, what? This is all I get? Like, really?
But they even give you like a little dagger. You could use a little dagger. And then one was like a morning star. It was like a almost like a mace. So but you had so many different weapons, so many different capes, so many different customizations in this game. It was just, I loved it, and again, it felt very, how can I put this would be a good horror kind of story, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so from the art to the music to the gameplay, like one of my favorite stages, and it's not like a whole stage, it's like you're running in a corridor, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's the one of the where it's like there's an eyeball floating in the background, and you can see
Yeah,
it through the glass, like the glass doors as you're running through this little
yeah.
corridor.
That's creepy.
And I was like,
Yeah,
but picking up on that kind of stuff, is like, hey, like this is different. Something is different about this game, you know.
yeah,
And it's those little things where it's just like, oh, when you're fighting, before you fight Allrock, right? You fight like this like massive globe, but it's just bodies, and you're hitting it, and the bodies
I
are
was,
falling
I was
off of
gonna
it.
bring that up. Yeah, you
You
brought that up. Yeah,
know,
yeah.
so,
It's a little creepy.
yeah, even in their monster creation of who you're gonna fight, it was just so inventive.
Yeah,
And it's like, oh, like, oh, these guys, they're like, you think they have like, I don't know, like kind of like mermaids, but they're attached to dragons. So it's like the woman is attached to a dragon tail. So it's not
yeah.
really,
I see that too. That's so weird.
so it's just like all these inventive characters, inventive, like, just boss battles, even down to when you're getting at the end. Like, I'm skipping ahead, but in the end, having to go back to this one section of the castle, like, because there's two. Oh, that's the other thing that was I would say special about this game. There was quote unquote multiple endings, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Really only two, but there's multiple endings, right?
Multiple one. Yeah,
One, you could defeat a character that basically drew you into this whole plot, right? And defeat him. The second ending was actually going up against Dracula.
yes,
And there was a way that you had to get there. And I'll be honest, the first time, again, I couldn't read anything or hear any, like, when people, like, understand anything anyone was saying, right?
yeah, yeah,
But stumbling upon, like, there's this one area when you first get into the cat, like when you're first exploring, it's like a bunch of clocks, right?
yep,
And this area, something is different about this area. Because sometimes when you're in that room, and that's the other thing, you're running back and forth. And sometimes when you run back to this room, there is a statue that moves. And it's only at a particular time, right?
yeah.
And
That was kind of unnerving to me.
yeah. So latching on to these kind of things is like, okay, there's all these different things going on in this castle. And you're here to explore, you're here to figure it out, and I just loved it. I loved how it was put together. I loved the art of the game. I loved the music of it. I had, like, this is one of the soundtracks I was like, I have to get this soundtrack,
Yeah. Castlevania soundtrack's always been good though. I
Yeah.
think like all their even like the 8-bit games were. I thought the soundtracks were amazing.
Yeah. So I was like, I gotta get this soundtrack. I gotta play this. I got everything with this game was just so good. And even when it ended, it was a good ending, right?
Yes, yes,
And so for me, it was, man, I really want to play something like this again.
yes.
I really want to have this kind of experience again,
And they made similar games after this. I don't. They were good, but they weren't as good as this one though. Like they made similar Metrovania type Castlevanias after this.
Well, I think what happened was, ultimately, the critics' first thing is to say this isn't Castlevania.
Yes.
Like, I think I heard, like, even like among like the game magazines people, they were saying this doesn't feel like a Castlevania game because it was that RP type thing, right?
Yeah.
And this is the one problem I have with a lot of gamers is there's never any room for something. This might be just fandom in general.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like there's ever any room for something different. And that's why I would say most gamers are never satisfied because they can't, or even just anybody in a fandom, like they won't let the fandom grow or move or try something different, right? They want it locked in some like one place, but also want something different.
Yeah, yeah, they don't want it to get mainstream. They want to keep it in the fandom. Yeah,
So,
I see that. I see a lot of people doing that.
And that's what I felt like this game came out. Like I felt like the people they're like, it's not true. Like whatever, Castlevania purist, right?
Yeah,
this isn't Castlevania. That's not how it's supposed to go. But I think, and thankfully, they didn't listen to that, and they kept producing like here's what I felt like this game. I felt this game was a way for people who never played Castlevania to play it.
Oh yeah.
It
introduced, like you just said, it introduced these RPG mechanics. So it kind of brought in it brought in Metroid fans. It brought in Zelda fans because it has like some Zelda elements to it. Because you're looking at puzzles, you're solving puzzles, and you're collecting different items like in Zelda. So it brings in two different types of genres, like Metroid and Zelda, into a well-known game. I mean, yeah.
So I felt like no, this was a way for people who, or even we're just tired of the like feeling. Because the other thing with Castlevania, like it's the boards, right, and they make you feel like you're just a failure all the time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, being that it wasn't in these games, it wasn't really the board, it was the things on the board that could kill you.
Yes.
And so you had to be leveled up, powered up to be able to handle that. I think it just made it more consumable. Yeah, that's the word I want. For people to be able to play it. And I'm okay with that,
Yeah, I mean, it was really, I mean, I would say, because both of us are Castlevania fans.
Yeah.
But I would say if you're like hardcore Castlevania, like you say, but you weren't really into like Metroid or Zelda, which I find that shocking that any gamer would not be into any of those games because they're classics.
Yeah.
But if you're not into those games and you love Castlevania for what it is, and then you get this game, it still can't see anybody not liking it though, But this game was like it draws you in from the jump. So I can't see somebody, and I'm sure, like you said, I'm sure there's people out there, but I can't just see someone looking at this game and saying, "Oh, this is boring." Like, this is like it grabs you from the beginning.
That's what I'm saying. Like the purists, quote unquote purists.
Yeah.
They would say like I said, this isn't a Castlevania game. It doesn't move like one. And you're like, no, it doesn't, and that's good. That's a good thing.
Yes.
And I love Metroid. I love. I'm starting to play Zelda now more. Well, at least the newer Zeldas, because the older Zeldas didn't feel like this to me.
Okay.
So like the newer, I guess starting with the Wii, so like Wind Taker, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But this game as a Castlevania game, I think this might be my outside of Castlevania 1, because I remember playing that game and being like, what is this? Like we need to do this over and over and over again. And now seeing the proliferation of Castlevania games from handhelds. I think they got handhelds on lock with Castlevania. And I was sad to see, the creator leave Konami.
Yeah, that was
But
sad.
you know,
Yeah.
kind of still doing his own thing on the side.
Yeah, he built his own game. It
Yeah,
was a female protagonist.
yeah, and it's on Steam and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
it looks great. I'd like to play that.
yeah, it's just like, okay, you know, the legend lives on, and the game
Yes.
itself lives on. You know, they call them spiritual successors.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
the other thing that was, I think, that was different in the Japanese version versus the American version was you could play as Maria or Trevor Belmont in the game. So it just had, and there were other areas of the castle that you could explore that didn't happen in the American version.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you couldn't play as you can only play as Alucard. You couldn't play as you saw them in the game, but you couldn't. Well, you can play technically as Trevor in the beginning.
Well, in the beginning, but
Yeah,
not throughout the game. So
not throughout the game. Yeah, yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't play the Japanese one. I would love to see how that plays because I don't think I ever played that one. But I played the every time I play, it's always the PlayStation American one.
yeah,
And what's amazing about this game is, you're not for the longest time you're playing as the Belmonts, their family. So this one is like you're not playing as the Belmonts anymore. You're playing as Dracula's offspring,
yeah,
right? Which is awesome.
it was totally different.
Yeah, yeah, it was like totally different. And I like to ask you this because it's funny, like this the wording of Alucard, like for like the longest time I looked at Alucard and I was like, something about this name, and then you look at it, you're like, oh my gosh, it's Dracula spelled backwards.
Yep.
I was like, oh my goodness. So I don't know. When did you already know that? Like how I know you already knew that, but how long did it take you to find that out?
I knew it when I looked at the name. It just popped out to me. So,
Yeah, yeah. So I thought that's interesting.
but this is another thing. Remember the rapper we talked about last time, Mega Ran?
Yes, yeah,
He did a rap for Dracula's Curse, which was Castlevania 3.
yes.
And he's doing it from the perspective of each of the characters. And I just love that because he goes into the whole thing about why Alucard is doing what he's doing, and it's kind of cool that again he's rapping about this game and he's rapping as the different characters, going to defeat Dracula. So I love that. I love that particular song of his also. But and it's again for the ethos of Castlevania in history, right? This is one of those original Nintendo games. And it's one that, I think help push Nintendo forward in a sense, outside of Mario, because it appealed to an older, or Nintendo was still kind of wanting to be, or still wants to be like this young, we have our audience, they're kids, right?
Yeah.
But they do have games that older people could play, older adults could play, and I think Castlevania, it's kind of dark,
Oh yeah, it's a very dark game. Yeah.
You're going up against Dracula, right? And you're this family, who's got to fight Dracula.
And I want to make a correction too. I think we've been saying Trevor Belmont. It's actually Richter Belmont.
Oh, Richter, yeah.
Yeah, I've been so many Belmonts to keep track of. I just wanted to.
Richter, Trevor.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
that's Simon. So it's
yeah. Yeah, I think
Simon.
Simon was the second one.
Trevor is the first. Trevor's the first Belmont.
Trevor's the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. Simon is number 2. Now
Yeah.
Richter. Yeah.
Richter. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. So many Belmonts to like keep track of, but yeah. Yeah.
And now they're gonna do one with Sonia Belmont. That's a
yeah.
new. So I'm excited.
I heard about that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of like different Belmonts to keep track of.
And Juice Belmont. Then remember, so that's the other thing. Like this game, I would say, is the start of action RPG just exploding, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
As a just a genre of games, because like you said, even with the new mechanics of Zelda, the Metroid, oh my gosh, Metroid 2 is my favorite Metroid, right? But then you get Metroid Fusion, Metroid,
oh gosh, yeah,
all these different kinds of games that are like, you can power up your character, you can dress your character, all these different attributes that you can add to your character.
Yep.
As you're progressing through a game, it just like I loved it. And I also, like I said, I love the fact that this just started spawning, at least on the handheld side, a ton of Castlevania games.
I haven't. Like, when it comes to the Castlevania games, like the only bad one I saw, because I think pretty much most of them were good.
Yeah,
but you could disagree. But the one I thought was the worst one was the Nintendo 64 one. I played most of the Castlevanias, and I usually got through them. But that one I just had trouble getting through. I don't know about you, what your worst Castlevania game was, or if there are any bad ones for you.
I agree with you that the N64, but I feel like it was a mechanical problem. Like they hadn't worked that out yet. It wasn't until the PS2, PS2 that they worked out the 3D. Like, and even on the PS2, I remember like the original Devil May Cry was very clunky. Right.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Devil May Cry 2, they worked out the whole 3D model thing. And the camera angle, right? The camera angle is also like a problem.
Yeah.
And so by Devil May Cry 2, they had the camera angle and the 3D thing worked out. And then the Castlevania game for that came out after that. So they were able to be, all right, this is how we've got to work the camera angles. This is how we work, the 3D board. Running on the 3D board and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so,
you mentioned like the Devil May Cry, like the first one, like you said, like it was kind of clunky because you'd be fighting a battle and the camera's like all over the place, so you can't fight the boss, like who the boss was.
Yeah, and I would argue that was the first quote unquote Castlevania game on PlayStation, like PlayStation 2.
Right, yeah.
Of the newer model, the newer type model thing, because it's a gothic game. You're a demon, you're a demon hunter, and you're going into these, like, I guess, gothic castle. I think the first one, you're in a castle. So
you're in a castle, yep.
Very gothic thing that you're doing. But we're just not calling. I think one of the funny things people used to call was like Devil Mayvania. So people understood that this was basically Castlevania, or how Castlevania should be.
Yeah.
So,
but the Devil May Cry series, like, he had guns, which I did like that. Like, in addition, like, Belmont, he always has whips and all that, which is still cool.
Yeah.
A lot of cards has swords, but I like that he had those two guns and he could shoot people, as well. So I did like that. That's what kind of drew me to that series
Yeah.
was the guns, but it's like you said, it makes sense because they're trying to do 3D Castlevania and a lot of 3D games, with the exception of Mario 64. Mario 64 was done very well, but there was a lot of 3D games that were clunky at that time. They're still trying to learn the technology, so I guess I can forgive it because of that.
Yeah. And I think again, going back to Castlevania Symphony of the Night, right?
Yeah,
It was just this. It opened up a new world, a new type of action gaming for a lot of people.
yes, yeah,
And it worked. It really worked.
yeah,
You know, and
yeah.
like I said, even in Japanese, that I had no idea what was going on, like story wise. Like I understood the story. Like I understood. I felt the danger, the having to get past these different character monsters and things. So I understood that danger, and it was good. And just the music alone, like I was so impressed. Like some of the areas, like even now, like thinking about the games and the different, like I could tell the area by the music. Now I will say this, the one disappointing thing, and I get why they did it, because it was almost like we ran out of stuff, right?
Yeah.
When you play the game, I don't want to say correctly, right? But when you're going towards the second ending of the game, you basically have to there's an inverted castle, right?
Yep.
And the inverted castle is everything in the main castle, but upside down because it's inverted by definition.
Yes.
But there's only one musical track that you're playing through there. And I didn't like that. But it almost was like we ran out of, like, we're not going to make another 32 song track for the other castle. I would have been okay if they would just replayed all the different songs in the different in the same areas, but they only played like one track in throughout the inverted castle. So I was disappointed in that.
Well, it says a lot too. Like you're playing this game, you don't know what the story is. It says how amazing this game is, right? Is that says a lot about the music, the gameplay, the graphics. Because you didn't know what the story was, but you still kept playing the game, which says a lot about how amazing the game is. Like the gameplay and all that other stuff is. You don't really need the story.
I was so excited. Like I was so excited to play it. Like I said, I peaked. I saw I got it for Christmas. I was so excited to play the game. Even before. Even before I had it. So I was very, very happy that I could play it. I even had I got the gaming magazine. I guess it would call the strategy guide.
Oh yes, yeah.
When the strategy guide finally released, I got that, so I could actually be like, "Oh, this is what all this stuff means,"
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool to just be able to play this game. And
yeah, it's interesting. Like when you played, like when I played this game without a strategy guide because I had time to do it.
Yeah.
But the second time I had to have a strategy guide because it's a long game. And if you are away from the game for a while, you'll forget what you were doing. I mean, that's true for me. I can't speak for you, but I know for me, like when I was playing it recently, I would play it and then something happens. I play other games or I get caught up in other things, and then I come back to it. I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's the same with any type of Metroid type of game for me. Because when I was younger, I had a lot of time in my hands, and I could play those games like fully through, or I could. It would be the only games I had, so there were the games I focused on, so I remembered. But nowadays, when I play these type of games, I have to have a walkthrough or something because I need to know where I left off at because it's a lot to it. That's the only reason I use a walkthrough today. I don't. Also, there's like you said, there's secrets and stuff to be found, which is awesome.
Oh, that was the other thing too, was the save mechanism, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And like being able to see like you said, you save an area and you're like, I might not remember, because that's the other, you're in a castle and you're like, I don't have a map or anything. But even though you're building a map, you're like, I don't even know what direction I was going in. And like I had to do it like by music, right? Like if I remembered the song that was playing in this particular area, I'd be like, okay, I've been here before. Or because that was the other thing for me, was the way you find new areas, it would be like, okay, I got new music, right?
Yeah.
And just kind of like, again, trying to remember, like, where am I going? Like, which direction is up or down or left or right, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, that too. Yeah, yeah.
And then like finding the different secrets, because there's secret areas all over the place. So the save area, the saving and just like coming back and being, but that's the other thing too. I think if I'm playing Castlevania, it's got to be like one of the only games I'm playing, so I can remember like this is where I was headed, because I'm gonna forget. I'm definitely gonna forget like where I was at in this castle, what I got so far, and every time I like, I think every time I would boot it up again and play, I would be like, have I been this way before? Like I know like
yep.
I'm missing something, and you're like, okay, but it's funny. It's really it was one of those games again that I enjoyed every minute I played it.
Yeah. It does grab you. Like I know like you didn't get the story, and you probably read the story after a while.
Yeah.
After playing it. But like the story is interesting. I mean, and the thing is, like, even if you never played this game, if you've seen it on Netflix, that does a good job of explaining. It goes a little bit more deeper than the game, but it does a good job of explaining around, kind of the mythos around that surrounds this story in this game.
I'm glad you brought up the Netflix series.
Yeah.
Well,
no, we can talk about that too, the Netflix series. But this game it's 4 years after Richter Belmont defeats Dracula, right? So that's where the man is a miserable pile of secrets scene takes place, and that was you mentioned it already, the Rondo of Blood, or Dracula X. You mentioned Dracula X. So he defeated Dracula in Rondo of Blood, and that was only released in Japan in '93, and then it came out as Dracula X in America on a Super NES. And then Richter, he vanishes. He's gone. Right now, I'll bring up the anime. In anime, he's kind of a drunk. He's just drunk. He still has his fighting skills, but he's a drunk. But in the game, so we're dealing with dark forces, is led by a priest named. I love the priest name. It's Shaft.
Shaft.
Yeah, I just find that funny. And then he's summoning Castlevania back into existence. He's trying to get Dracula back. We got Alucard, who he's not fully vampire. He's not fully a vampire. He's a vampire and a human. So he had a human mother. And again, the anime does a good job with that backstory. Go ahead.
Yeah. So one of the things that always I guess it reminded me of was I don't know if you remember or have heard of the anime Vampire Hunter D, right?
Yeah, yes, yes,
So D was the same thing, and that's actually kind of like what I
yeah,
took from Alucard was like they're getting that from Vampire Hunter D,
yes.
and it was D was called like when they say you like he's half vampire, they call him a vampeel, which was like
Yeah,
the slur for being like not fully vampire.
yes.
So,
Yeah, that's been good. Interesting that you brought that up because that is very similar to that story. Like it's because I think there was also another like in the older Draculas. I thought it was mentioned in the Dracula mythos. There was Alucard as well. I don't think it's the same story. I know I could be wrong, um, but there was like an Alucard uh, character in the old Dracula mythos, I believe. And I could be mistaken, but I thought there was. But anyway, of course you're playing as Alucard, and he's placed himself into a permanent slumber. He kind of seal away his cursed bloodline or his vampiric bloodline,
mhm.
and he wants to shift the balance of the world, and he awakens. And this is where we get him running to the castle. He enters the castle with a singular goal, and then he wants to put an end to his dad's madness once again. He's like, my dad is just crazy. I want to just deal with him. And then he you kind of watch him navigate the grief of his past throughout the game. He he I think there's one part of the game where he's in like a psychological trap where a demon mimics his dead mother to trick him.
Mhm.
Um, and just the whole story is just about him confronting his father's hatred of humanity,
Yeah.
which the anime does a great job talking about. Right, you're kind of you're partnering with Alucard, and I mean you're not, but Richter and then Maria, they're all partnering with him throughout the whole anime series. So it's kind of like that. You're playing as him, and like I said, when you start out in the game, we both were disappointed, I'm sure, when death takes death takes all your powers. Well, I can't say like, I'm sure. I would say even for you, like, I think we were disappointed and not disappointed at the same time because of like the game would have been like amazingly easy and boring, you know. So it did create that competitive. It made it challenging for us, which is good. You want to challenge and you want to build your character. And on the flip side of that, you're like, well, I got this, I got all these powers now, but now I got to start all over again.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
kind of like conflicting feelings.
it was the only way. So
Yeah, it's the only way. Yeah.
they like you couldn't play the game without that. So
Yes.
um they had to give it away so you could be able to uh have a reason to power up and go through the process.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if he went through the game like he was in the beginning, he was just hitting people not people, he was hitting like zombies in one hit and they were dead. They'd be like, oh my God, this is too easy.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I do appreciate that too as well. But that is pretty much the story. I mean, we do meet Maria. He's Richter's sister-in-law. For those who don't know the mythos, um, she's there, and she's kind of like an emotional anchor, and she also guides Alucard. Um, and of course, we have Richter Belmont who you get to play with more in the Japanese version, as you mentioned, but also you play in the beginning with the bad voice actor, and you fight Dracula in that in that first scene. So it's pretty interesting. What are your thoughts on the story?
I thought the story again, this was a very grown up Castlevania, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So we're seeing a new breath into it, more on the horse, like the Dracula mythos side. Again, he wants to take over the world. He's tired of humanity. what are you going to do to stop it? And you can't do it alone, right? So even in the game, you're meeting Richter, you're meeting Maria. It's kind of like a callback to Dracula's Curse.
Yes.
And so it's like this: we're still in the same world, we're still in the same, dealing with the same issue, and it's just grown up and more advanced. And I like it. I liked how it was. So
Yeah, it was a very like you said, very adult version of Castlevania. I think I grew up with the fans because the original Castlevanias were you were like a younger kid
yeah,
at the time, and now I mean this game came out. I think you're older than me, but we were both kind of teenagers when this came out, so we we grew up with Castlevania with uh, the classic monsters with the Frankenstein and the vampire, the Dracula, and, just the monsters that we know, the werewolf, the typical classical monsters. And now we get to this game, and you're like playing as his son, which is a little bit more deep. So it was interesting.
yeah,
And as far as like reception and legacy, like this game, it was a sleeper hit. So the mainstream gaming did like its gameplay, um, or the press, I should say, the journalists at the time, they liked the gameplay and the soundtrack, which we both liked. And it was interestingly at the time, it was a risky move because everybody was focused on 3D. This is a 2D game. So it did get criticized a little bit for being a 2D game on a 3D console, PlayStation and Sega Saturn. This is mostly PlayStation that they're talking about, but it was on a 3D console, so there was a little criticism there. But most of what made this game popular was the word of mouth. The gamers liked it, right? So it was one of those things where these critics, I would say out of touch critics, hate something, but then the actual people that love this type of stuff, they love it and they just tell everybody else it's great, and then they get a whole bunch of other people to like it. So everybody's like, well, forget the critics. We all like it. And it's just one of those things where the fans and the critics don't agree. So this game is kind of like that because a lot of the mainstream critics, they didn't like rate it really low. They rated it. They didn't. I would have rated it higher if I was them because it wasn't rated as an amazing game in their eyes. But over time, it got a lot of respect, and then reviewers were like looking back at it. They said, "Oh, this game is actually really good." But when it first came out, the critics were really harsh with it. Not, I'm gonna say extremely harsh. I shouldn't say that. They were just they didn't give it its due. It was almost underrated at the time. But of course, it was inspired by Metroid. And it's kind of where the Metroidvania subgenre came from.
yeah,
Because a whole bunch of other games were like that as well. And Konami eventually brought it to Xbox 360, and it brought the Dracula X Chronicles and PSP, and for the PlayStation 4 and for mobile devices. And he did what you mentioned. It was the Bloodstained Ritual of the Night from Igarashi himself with a female protagonist. So it's the same Castlevania game, but a female protagonist, which I need to play because I haven't played that game. I would love to play that. Have you played Bloodstained?
No, it's on Steam though. I can just
It's on Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to play that. That sounds like a pretty good game because it kind of brings those same things, the same gameplay things into it, like Castlevania. And Dead Cells is another one. Dead Cells is another game that's very inspired by Castlevania.
they actually just added a Castlevania kind of like DLC, maybe like a few months ago, or maybe like last year. So, like I guess because Dead Cells itself isn't like it is like Castlevania, but it's not like I guess the skin of Castlevania, but they just
skin.
Like the skin of Castlevania on it. So
it's very it's not the same like story or anything or same. It's the same like kind of type of gameplay or look, I should say, like you said, skin. It looks a lot like it. But there's a lot of other games that have this Metroidvania type of thing. Of course, the most popular one now is Hollow Knight, which I think is an extremely hard game.
I don't even know if that's
very popular.
If that's a Castlevania. Well, I mean,
I would say Castlevania, but more Metrovania. That's not a Castlevania. That's more like a Metroid type of game. Metrovania type of game.
I just know that I got lost in that game. And I'm like, I don't even know what's going on here.
Yeah, it's a very hard game. It can be very frustrating. Yeah, I played it a little bit as well. But also we have Exum Verge is another one. I didn't butcher that. Exum Verge is the other Metroidvania type of game. But there's plenty of them out there. There's a whole lot of them. And of course, we have all the other Castlevania games that came out that were very similar to this. There was the one where it was like took place in '93. I'm drawing a blank on these other Castlevania games that came out.
So many
that came out like that.
So many Harmony of Dissonance.
Harmony of Dissonance, yes.
Just there's a ton of them, and like I liked that Nintendo was like, you know what, this is our bread and butter. You know, we know that this works. Everybody, when it comes out, people are gonna buy it. Now, what I did not like was they dropped the Gothic art direction because they wanted to appeal to. They said it was too scary. But yeah, I was just like when Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, that's when they dropped the Gothic art because they're like, it's too scary for kids.
Oh my gosh.
Like, oh man. But the crazy thing, because like even this Nintendo DS, so like the Game Boy Advance had what is it, Aria of Sorrow, and that
Aria of Sorrow,
that was still the classic, art, the graphic art, and I was just like, you guys just did it the game prior with Soma Cruz, and that's the other thing too, the introduction of Castlevania in the future with Soma Cruz, not connected to the Belmonts in any way, but drawn into the Castlevania like world, right?
Yes.
So Aria of Sorrow, that one, I was like, wait, what? This is like the year 2020, what? Like
I think it was in the 90s, I believe. I thought it was
2035. It takes place in 2035.
Was it? I
didn't
know that. I thought it was okay, but that makes sense.
And there's
takes place in the future.
So yeah, I was like, Castlevania's in the future now? Because we've been playing in the past for the last, 30 years. So it was interesting to see the story progress forward in such a way.
Yeah, that was kind of a unique version of it because some guy with a jacket on and he's walking in there with his he has swords and stuff too, but he's very modern looking.
Yeah, it's a very modern, and even again, it goes back to we want you to try different. So he's got all different weapons, different magic, different ways the magic works now. Like so, Aria of Sorrow still moved like Symphony of Night, but then Harmony of Dissonance, now it's touchscreen. It's Nintendo 3DS, right? You gotta do the pattern on the screen to be able to activate different kinds of magic, so taking advantage of the new hardware moving forward. So again, Castlevania, they just did it, and
Yeah.
I'm impressed that they kept moving forward, and I just love this game. It's I still think about, like I said, one of the songs is my ringtone for waking up in the morning.
That's a good song to wake up to. It's you got the choir singing at you when you wake up. That's
Yeah,
great.
so that's how
Well,
ingrained it was for me. That's how powerful it was to me.
yeah, it's amazing. The music is really, like you said, like using it for your alarm is great. But the music and the graphics,
Mhm.
just the story is good, right? But the gameplay is what really drew me into it. Like the gameplay,
Yeah,
uh, playing as Dracula's son, like I love that. That was great. You can turn into different creatures. Um, he was just awesome looking. He was awesome to look at,
yeah,
and he didn't have the whip. Like it was
yeah. It
the
was
whip
different
was
weapons.
great. Yeah, different weapon. Yeah, he had a sword. So I thought it was great. Now we're in the final thoughts right now. So what would you give? What would you give this game out of 10?
You said it was a sleeper hit, and I agree with you. I feel it's a
Yes.
shame that it was a sleeper hit because,
Yeah.
like I said, I was so excited to play it that I was snooping around my Christmas gifts to see that I got it for Christmas. Um, and I'd have to give it a 9.5.
Nice.
Just because, like I said, the music, the gameplay, and I'm playing it in Japanese. So I'm not even like, everyone else is playing it in English. I'm playing it in Japanese and I'm giving it 9.5,
Yeah, that says a lot.
telling people like, I got this game, it's a Castlevania game. I have no idea what anyone is saying. When I finally got the strategy guide later on, I could see like, oh, this is what's going on. But I loved it. I love the graphics. I love the gothic art. I love the music. I loved it was different. Like having all the different things to be able to try in a game, like the different cape colors, everything, oh, I could get these shoes to make me taller, even though I'm not really seeing it in the game. But um, the different shields, the different swords, the different other types of weapons, the different shade, the different things you could add on to just increase your power, and then one of in the early fight with Richter and Dracula, like, oh man, I'm about to die. Who runs on the screen? Little young Maria to power you up.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah.
Because you meet her and she's older, as Alucard, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So just that line continuing. And again, this is a Castlevania game. It's a different Castlevania game, but it feels like a Castlevania. And that's the other thing, the takeaway why I give it 9.5. Because even though it was so different, it still felt like a Castlevania game to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to ask you too,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I heard. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I know you mentioned in the beginning where you're fighting, you're fighting Dracula in the beginning, and then Maria helps you. I thought there was if you Maria doesn't help you, I think you become more powerful. I believe, or does Alucard become more powerful if she doesn't help you?
If you don't die, then
Yeah.
you get like like a bonus, a I think it's like you get a defense bonus, like a few things like that, because you're basically RPG, right? So it's health, defense,
Yeah.
so you get like a few more, just a little bit more bonus to start out with Alucard if you survive without her coming in to like revive you.
And my next question is, have you like I come close to doing it without Maria's help. but then I usually get hit when he turns into that lizard creature or that dragon creature. Um, so have you ever done it
Oh yeah,
without
I've
doing it
done it.
without Maria? Oh, okay.
The secret is when he jumps, is you get under him and like squat down and get in between his legs, and then just start hitting him.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. That makes sense. Now I'm gonna try that now. I'm gonna try it
yeah,
because I usually always I come close. I come close and then I get slammed. Um, but yeah, that's interesting. And for me, I give it a 9 out of 10. 9.5 is great.
hmm
I give it a 9 out of 10. I love Castlevania. I do love the series. I do like this game. I don't have any problems with it. I just give it a 9 out of 10. It's just one of those games I go back to.
yeah.
Um, and it's just an amazing game. I would say it's one of the best games. I wouldn't say it's the best game I ever played, but I would say it's one of the best games I ever played of all the games. So it's a really great game. This game has grabbed me from the jump. Like when I saw it in like Game Pro, I was just like, oh my gosh, I got to get this game. But I was always following the new Castlevania. Anything with Castlevania, uh, I was looking forward to. I was a little heartbroken with uh, Castlevania 64 because my friend had it, and I was so excited when he had it. I was like, oh yeah, Castlevania 64. Oh, that looks great. And then I got there and I'm like, oh, this is bad. It's like some beta testing gone wrong. And so it was really disappointing. But I didn't give up on Castlevania because of that.
Yeah,
Castlevania always made some great games. And this game definitely didn't disappoint. So it's a wonderful game.
yeah,
But that is Symphony of the Night. And I appreciate it again, Marz, for kind of bringing this game up here. This game is actually a really good one. I actually enjoyed looking at this game in more depth, even though I knew a lot of this stuff already, but it was still really, really awesome to kind of do some research on this and look at the different things about it and us talking about it too. So I appreciate you sharing this game, and this game is awesome.
yeah. No, I love like this is one of those games again. Like there's a bunch of games you're gonna have that you really love, and there's other ones
Yes,
you're just like, I can't believe I played that game.
yes,
And then there's
yes.
some that you like even probably like hated when you first played it, and then like you started to play it and you're like, no, you know what? This is not that bad. So it's just like with movies, right? You just gotta play to see what you're gonna like and what you're gonna walk away with. And this was a game, like I said, even before when I heard it, I didn't have a play. Like I said, I was a Sega person, so I didn't have a PlayStation, so I couldn't even play it. And like, thankfully, it came out for Saturday and because I wasn't going to convince my parents to buy a PlayStation just so I can get this game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So being able to import it and still enjoy it, I was happy. I was very happy.
And it's good that it came out for the Sega Saturn because you wouldn't have been able to play it till much later.
Yeah, I
So
never.
at least you got a chance
Yeah,
to
I
do
never.
that.
I never got a PlayStation. I
Yeah.
think the Dreamcast. Like remember they had like the Bleamcast.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And they had the one for like they had for Symphony of Night. That's how I played Metal Gear Solid. I've only had to play.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you about that
I
because I didn't
played
know
it
Metal
on.
Gear Solid was PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah, I played it on my Dreamcast.
Huh.
I didn't have a PlayStation because I was a Sega person. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because the PlayStation, I mean, I didn't, I didn't get the PlayStation just for that. I just got it for Christmas.
mhm.
And, I was playing mostly sports games on it, but then I was playing other types of games. And then this game came out, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I definitely got to get this because it looks great. Um, and then, of course, I had other friends that were into Castlevania, and they were like, "Oh my gosh!" They played over my house first, and they're like, "Oh man, I got to get this game." So they ended up getting it. So the word of mouth thing was working at that time because other people were like, "I got to play this game." But it's interesting to hear your side of the story where you played on a Sega Saturn. I don't think I met anybody that played on Sega. I don't think I knew anybody had a Sega Saturn. Other people had like PlayStation, but I guess it depends on where you live at. Like some people live in areas where like Nintendo was king and everybody was talking about Nintendo, but then you have other places where Sega Genesis or Sega was the king. So I was more like Nintendo, PlayStation type of world. I mean, I had Sega, but my mom was like, either get PlayStation or Sega Saturn. Which one? Of course, I picked PlayStation because I had Sega, but I was more of a Super Nintendo fan. And PlayStation comes out. I'm like, okay, this sounds pretty good. I'll go with that. I'll go with that. Either that or CDI, which was crap. So I'm glad I didn't go that direction. But I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you very much for joining the show. And we're going to have a different show, hopefully, with another amazing game.
Yeah.
Hopefully amazing game or a dud. Sometimes they're fun to kind of rag on as well. So I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Symphony of the Night is a game that defies the passage of time. It's a flawless collision of gothic aesthetics, perfect level design, unforgettable music, and incredible, satisfying character progression. It took a high-stakes gamble on 2D artistry when the rest of the industry was rushing toward polygons, and history rewarded it for its stubbornness. For my money, it isn't just the best game in the Castlevania franchise. It's a flawless 9 out of 10, as I mentioned in the episode. It's a masterpiece that every single person who calls himself a gamer needs to experience at least once. Thanks again for joining us on Cartridge Chronicles. Keep your controllers ready and your adventures endless. We'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, don't stop gaming.